Hey everyone, here it is, another Writing 121 video for your love and enjoyment. This is gonna be good because we're doing multiple things. I'm gonna read you a poem in a moment, an Andre original. So strap yourselves down for that because we've got writing assignment 9 coming up. On page 330. Now, originally the syllabus said page 320, and a couple of eagle-eyed folks in class shot me an email and said, hey, there's nothing on page 320 related to an assignment. 330. I was wrong on the syllabus. I had the wrong number. It's on page 330, and what it asks you to do, and this is one of my favorite assignments. This is good stuff. You're going to think of something you're good at. So right away, you're screwed because you have to acknowledge you have a skill. And I know you don't want to do that because that's, well, I'm not good at anything. Bullshit. You're all good at something. Think of something you're good at. And then you need to come up with a sort of tutorial, right? Tutorial? I can't say that word, but that doesn't matter. What really matters is that you come up with a list of steps for doing what you're good at, whether it's a hobby, a sport, your job, washing the dishes, baking cookies, playing Dungeons and Dragons, football practice, whatever. A list of steps to go through what you're talking about. And then, ready for this? I love this. According to the book on page 330, it wants you to write a poem about your skill. Explain your skill via a poem. Now, this isn't a creative writing class. I'm not grading you based on the quality of your poem, but you have to write a poem nonetheless. It can be a crappy poem. I don't care. I'm going to read you a crappy poem that I wrote. So we're all even. And then the third part of the assignment, the important part of the assignment, is writing a paragraph or two explaining how you're talking about the same thing in different styles, how we can make a formal explanation and some kind of artistic poem, but talk about the same thing in these two different ways. So you're going to make a comparison essay, a couple paragraphs. We're going to do this in APA because we're still using APA. Remember, title page number in the upper right. In the title, you got your long title, your name, my name, the class, the department, the date. Page 2, you got your full title again, page number in the upper right. Then you're going to have your list. Page 3, your poem. Page 4, your couple of paragraphs. Your list, your poem, and your paragraphs would be a good place to use those APA level headings we talked about. Bolded and in the center of the page. Now, you're also supposed to be thinking about memes, right? You had to find a meme and talk about it in relation to some of the stuff from the book. So I'm going to share my screen right now, and we're going to look at something very similar. Where did it go? It should be here. Uh-oh. Bear with me a moment. It's not where it was supposed to be. There it is. All right. Grammar memes. So I've got some memes here that I found. They're all about grammar. Makes sense. This chapter talks about writing. First one here, we have everyone's lovable meme. We have Buzz and Woody. Buzz with his hand around Woody's shoulder. Grammar Nazis everywhere. Now, Of course, you've probably seen Toy Story. In my class face to face the other day, I had one student who'd never seen Toy Story. I can't imagine we'd ever find a movie more widely seen by students than only one person not having seen it. I don't remember what's happening here in the movie, but Buzz is pointing something out to Woody, and Woody looks kind of scared or startled. Had to quiet my kid down for a moment. And here's the thing, side note, he told me he's been watching these videos. I don't know why. Why would anybody choose to watch this? He says he watches them and helps him sleep. That I believe. I'm sure some of you have fallen asleep watching these too. But not this one, because we're talking about Buzz and Woody. Now, the idea of a grammar Nazi, I don't like it. I don't like Nazis. Personally, I'm a grammar commie. I think proper grammar is a tool of the revolution. If we want to overthrow evil, we got to do it with proper grammar, probably. Nobody takes us seriously if we don't know where to put an apostrophe or a comma or use the right form of a verb. The next one, here we have John Goodman's character from The Big Lebowski. Probably fewer of you have seen The Big Lebowski. Movie about a guy who gets his rug stolen and he wants to get it back. And John Goodman's character is his friend, and they're at the bowling alley, and somebody breaks a rule in bowling, steps over the line, and John Goodman kind of loses his shit a bit and pulls out a gun. This is a pretty common meme as well about just losing your shit about things. This one says, I am the only one who dislikes declarative statements with a question marks. With a question marks. There's a problem. With question marks. I am should be am I, right? Because it is a declarative statement that ends in a question with a question mark. It's not a question, it's a statement. Here we have this idea that some people, not me, I'm too relaxed and calm, but some people get really upset about this stuff. I've got bigger fish to fry. There's war in Ukraine, and there's hunger, and there's poverty, and there's climate destruction, and there's discrimination and stuff. So a misplaced punctuation mark doesn't really upset me that much. However, I did finish your paper ones finally, feeling better this weekend, and got them all done. And I did comment on some of the punctuation. If you want to revise it, you can get it revised and back to me, and I will regrade it. But we do have paper 2 coming up pretty soon. Don't forget. Here we have Willy Wonka looking all saucy. Oh, you correct everyone's grammar on the internet? Please tell me more about how you are so intellectually superior. I don't do that. There's no need for that as far as I'm concerned, except when I'm already pissed at the person I'm talking to online. And then I go crazy on that shit. But we don't need to do that. The final one here with this snazzy looking 18th century gentleman. I used a colon in my writing style, right? Have you used colons? We talked about semicolons and colons. If you haven't used a colon or a semicolon yet, now's your chance. Next writing assignment, throw in a colon. Remember, a colon is going to be used to add extra information to the end of a complete thought, an independent clause. A semicolon is going to be used to add a full independent clause on to the end of an independent clause. So it's like joining 2 complete sentences, where a colon, we're often using it to add descriptions or lists, those kinds of things to the end of a sentence, where the sentence, it's not needed to be complete, but it helps us understand what's going on. So there we go with memes. I look forward to reading about your memes. We have something else to share as well. Now we're getting to the poem. You're supposed to write a poem, and we're working towards doing an interview, right? I've gotten some emails from people. Some people were struggling to find somebody to interview. One person was struggling for a while. Not today. That gentleman has 2 people to interview. That's awesome. You know what else is awesome? My poem that I'm about to read you here. So get ready. This is about interviews. I'm going to call it Sonnet About Interviews. Are you ready for this? Tell me you're ready for this. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Here we go. Prepare an interview through your email. Include the information in your text. Be polite and thorough without fail. Ask one question, move on to the next. Be nice and thankful to the person kind. Remember, they take time out of their day. So think about the person you will find and focus on the topic you shall stay. Develop 5 or 10 things you can ask. Think of follow-up questions for insight. Quoting people is part of your task. And if it's MLA, you also cite. APA wants no interview source, but MLA does, you know, of course. There you go. There's my poem. Yours doesn't have to be a sonnet. Yours doesn't have to rhyme. I don't care about rhyme and meter, but you got to write a poem. Now, if we think about the poem I just read you, when we're talking about the interview, we're talking about coming up with questions ahead of time. We're talking about being prepared. We're talking about being professional. We're talking about being gracious, saying thank you, shooting an email afterwards saying, I just wanted to thank you again for taking time out of your day for this. I'm talking about if it's MLA, it needs to be on the Works Cited page. And all you need for your MLA Works Cited page entry for an interview is the name of the person you interviewed, last name first, Smith, Bob, period, personal interview, or email interview, or internet interview, or telephone interview, or Zoom interview, whatever you did to interview the person, the type of interview, and then the date, person's name, type of interview, and the date for an MLA paper. So if you're doing paper 3 in MLA, you're going to need that. APA doesn't want any kind of personal communications on the reference page. You can talk about it in the paper, but they don't want it on the reference page. So for paper 2, you don't need it on the reference page. Paper 3, if you're sticking with APA, you're not going to need it there either. We do have the next writing assignment coming up. We've got paper 2 to be finishing up, research to be finishing up. Have fun. Stay safe. Keep wearing your masks. No white powders, as we say. Stay away from all those white powder drugs, and see you around like a record.